Welcome back to the Mission Control Center. John Steinmeier. John is the Senior Project Manager for the Launch Systems Group at Orbital Sciences. And for those that tuned in back in April, John was very nice to come and join me for the launch activities for that test flight. So welcome back, John. It's good to have you.
Thanks, Kyle. It's great to be back. And as you said, we're all eagerly anticipating our launch tomorrow, our COTS demo launch, which will, as you saw in the video clip, utilize our new Antares launch vehicle and also demonstrate our newly developed Cygnus cargo transfer vehicle.
Let's talk about Antares for a second, obviously, because that's the booster that gets it there. The test flight back in April, it had the mass simulator to demonstrate the Cygnus, but that was obviously part of it. But proving Antares on a first flight, that was a big deal.
Yes, it was. That was a very important milestone for us, the first milestone in the COTS commercial orbital transportation system contract. The launch, when we were here doing the play-by-play, looked very good. And on further review, it was as good as it looked. We were able to verify all the major objectives for that test launch, verify all the requirements that were elements of that test launch. We've made only very slight corrections to some systems for the following launch. So it was a great launch for an inaugural launch, and we're certainly looking forward to duplicating that tomorrow.
And so the Antares, obviously, you have to go pore over all that data for quite some time. I mean, you know how it performed because it delivered the mass simulator right where you wanted it, but you still had to go over a pretty long period of time where you had to review all of that just to make sure that everything worked the way it needed to.
Yeah, it's been a busy 5 months going over the post-flight data in thorough detail. A series of post-flight reviews, including outside experts who reviewed that data with us and verified that, yes, indeed, we verified all the objectives.
Right.
In addition, during these past 5 months, we've had two other very important launches for NASA. We were able to launch the IRIS mission on our Pegasus launch vehicle in June, and then just a week ago Friday, we launched the LADI mission for NASA on our Minotaur 5 launch vehicle.
And so now it sets the stage for this next flight, of course, and we've been showing a little bit this morning the view from the launch pad. It's a beautiful day there, at least today. So hopefully we'll get the same view that we're looking at right there. We'll get that hopefully tomorrow. The latest report I heard was about 75% of favorable weather, maybe some clouds. That may be in the area, but of course the weather forecast is something that they'll start looking at a lot more closely once that countdown begins, which is roughly about 8 hours or so before launch. Talk about Cygnus now. I mean, that's the whole reason for the Antares is to deliver that, and it's been a long time coming, 5 or 6 years in the making for this.
You're right. It's been about 5 years in development, both for the launch vehicle and the Cygnus system. As you can well imagine, it's a very complex system. As you saw in the video clip, it consists of two primary elements: a pressurized cargo element that contains or is able to contain about 19 cubic meters of cargo, and then a service module which propels the Cygnus vehicle, maneuvers the Cygnus vehicle, and that's largely developed from our own in-house spacecraft propulsion components.
Yeah, so there's, it's like historical components that are proven that you guys have been working
correct.
on and evolving into what we're going to see with Cygnus and this delivery to the station. And Cygnus is going to rendezvous fly and will perform a number of steps on the way to the station to prove it as a rendezvous vehicle as well.
Yeah, that's correct. As you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, it's about a 4-day mission before we are able to berth with the space station. During that time, we'll execute a number of burns to essentially catch up to the space station, maneuver within range of the space station. We need to verify some systems on board the Cygnus as part of the COTS milestone objectives, and verify that the vehicle is safe and fully operational and ready to do its job to deliver cargo to the space station.
Great.
Even though this is a demonstration mission, we've already loaded about 1,300 pounds of cargo into Cygnus, and are planning to deliver that on Sunday.
And we were just looking at the rendezvous profile, but it's a fairly standard profile for the automatic phase, and then of course the crew will take over for the actual grapple and berthing to the Harmony module Node 2's nadir or Earth-facing port, so you can see the approach. And over the course of time, it's about a 4-day from launch to berthing profile. And then Cygnus, of course, will stay for about a month or so at the station before it heads home, and obviously it will take trash, unneeded items away from the station and then it'll burn up in the atmosphere.
Yeah, that's the idea. As you mentioned, it'll be berthed for about a month and allow the crew to transfer whatever unneeded elements that they have, and once the Cygnus is complete or has done its job, it will return through the atmosphere and dispose of the trash effectively.
Just like the Progress vehicle, the HTV, the
Exactly.
ATV, all of those have the same type of profile in terms of returning. But their main mission, obviously, is to sustain the station as a laboratory and a home away from home for these crew members. Again, we're talking with John Steinmeier, who's a senior project manager for Orbital Sciences Launch Systems Group, and we appreciate you dropping by. John will be here with us throughout the coverage Wednesday, beginning at 9:15 Central Time, 10:15 Eastern, and on console here in the room overseeing this team will be Courtney McMillan. She'll be the flight director. She's followed this along with a whole host of folks from Orbital, NASA, and even the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency. So it's a great team that's greatly anticipating the launch and arrival of Cygnus.
Yeah, we're expecting a big day tomorrow.
Thanks again, John.
Thank you.